Hi, I'm Brian King, and welcome to another episode of Winning Wednesdays. Today, I want to talk about something that I learned a very hard lesson very early in my marriage, something that I was really good at that I had to get rid of for the sake of our marriage. And it wasn't easy. I had to change, I had to grow. It was difficult, it put stress on me, and I did it. And over the years, there has been so much benefit to that I want to tell you about it because I don't think that I think it's something that's allowed in marriage way too often, and people get away with it or they think they're getting away with it, but they're not. It's hurting their marriage. The thing that I had to get rid of when it came to being married was sarcasm. I was really good at it. I was raised in a very sarcastic home. There was always that one-upsmanship going on, that little verbal back and forth, the little competition. And I guess if you really want to define sarcasm, it's basically competitive humor because it goes back and forth. And that's okay with your friends to a certain extent, with your coworkers to a smaller extent. And in your marriage, it's detrimental. You may not notice it right away, but it will hurt your marriage in the long run. You know, what is sarcasm? Sarcasm, it's really where you take a little grain of truth, wrap it in humor, and then poke somebody with it like a sharp stick. And that's fine on the playground, sports locker room, coworkers, when you're working together. That's fine. You can do that within boundaries. But think about it in your marriage. It's not going to serve you well. You know what's going to happen, and this is what started happening for me, and I'm so glad I caught it early. But if you play with knives, somebody's going to get cut. And what is the immediate reaction to somebody getting cut? Well, you cover it up. It's just a little cut. Well, I'll just put a Band-Aid on it. Oh, there's another one. Oh, you know what? This is a dangerous environment. I'd better really cover up. I'm going to put a long sleeve shirt on. Oh, maybe some gloves. Maybe a Carhartt jacket with a hood. You know, pretty soon, there's no more intimacy. Why? Because you're not safe. There's always that little competition going on, and they never know where it's going to lead. If they don't feel safe, they're going to cover up. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to sleep with somebody who's wearing a Carhartt jacket and gloves. That is not my idea of intimacy. Now, for me, I am very thankful that my sarcasm was pointed out very early by a friend, and I realized that some of the things I was saying and doing were actually hurting my wife. And that's the last thing I wanted to do. Now, to be honest with you, I made a pretty lame apology at the time. I didn't really know how I was gonna get rid of sarcasm, but I knew that I didn't want it in my marriage. And I basically gave my wife permission to call it out if she saw it. That made such a change in my life. You know, it's not that she wasn't good at sarcasm. She could keep up with me. She's very smart. But it stole intimacy because there was just that little bit of, what if? Does he really mean that? Because it sounds like, that little bit of truth was kind of hurtful, so that to cover up. And fortunately, I was able to hit it relatively early and get rid of it. Am I perfect? No. No, as a matter of fact, like if I get together with my family, and I mean, it's my second language with my family, there's always been a verbal, one-upsmanship running on there. But then I'll come back together with my wife and she'll say, "What was that all about?" And I said, "Oh, well, That's just how we talk, and that's just how it is. And has it served me well with my family? Probably not. I'm thankful that I didn't allow it to get into my marriage. Now, I guess the question comes back to, if you want to be able to win at marriage, are you willing to give something up that you're really good at? If you're good at sarcasm, you know it. You know, people know it. People around you know it. It's not going to do you any good in marriage, though. I'm not saying you have to give up humor. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons that my wife liked me so much was because I was humorous. I just had to get rid of the sarcasm and not use that as a tool in our marriage. You know, a lot of people think, well, that's just one of the tools I use in marriage when I need to inform my wife that there's something going on that she needs to change or whatever. Well, I don't think that's going to work. I don't know about you, but I am not motivated by criticism. And that little bit of truth that you're trying to hide in humor is usually actually criticism. Right? That's the whole reason you're wrapping it in humor, so that it's like a pill you can deliver, like, you know, stuffing it down the throat of your dog because they won't eat it when it's hidden in the treat. You don't want that in your marriage. If you have something you need to talk about, do it without criticism. Do it in a way that they feel safe, that you're not against them, because that's what it basically comes out to. It makes it seem like there's a constant competition. You don't want that in marriage. You want to be safe for them. And with sarcasm, you're not safe. And get that picture again of somebody with the Carhartt jacket. Is that how you want your wife to feel around you, like she's got to protect herself? I didn't, and I hope you don't. If you want to win at marriage, think about how you can maybe tone down the sarcasm. If you can't get rid of it all the way, think about it. Do what I did. Give your wife permission to call you out on it. Maybe she's sarcastic with you. Maybe you need to sit down and have a talk and say, hey, is this really helping our marriage? And if you both agree that it isn't, then try to get rid of it. I don't know anybody that's motivated by criticism. And sarcasm at its core is just criticism. Like I said, it's competitive humor with a truth underneath that should really be brought to the top instead of hidden. Anyway, I hope that all makes sense. I really think eliminating sarcasm will help you win. I'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks for listening. Bye.